Hey, we have made it to the last part of this video series. If you just found this video and don't know about, this is part 3 of a video series in which I will be covering painting. So you may want to go back and watch part 1 in which I cover things like mindset, planning and block out. In part 2, I go about remeshing, joining together the parts of our block out and sculpting our models. So with this out of the way, let's get to it. Hello everyone, I'm Nemesis from Aingon85. Welcome to my channel. This video will be shorter than the others and will be mainly focused on painting, so let's quickly get to work. Time to begin painting, and in case you don't know, I already have a video covering painting in Sculpt mode, and I will leave the link in the description in case you want to check it out. I'm in Sculpt mode, and from here, I want to change from the layout to the sculpting workspace. The reason why I'm doing this is to do changes to the outliner while making sure this only happens while in the sculpting workspace. Now I will change the outliner for the image editor so I can search for my image reference, then I can pick colors from there. In the newer versions of Blender, you can pick colors from outside the program, but I like this approach a bit more. The next thing I want to do is to split the window and change to the render mode. It is in cycles render mode. The main reason why I like to do this is because the colors, when applied to the model, they will not look the same in the render, mostly due to the influence of the light. So by having this render view, I can see more accurately how the model will end up. I hide the tool panel pressing T. Let me quickly enable the screencast keys so you can see what I press. To clean up the render window, I will disable the overlays and the gizmo. Lastly, with a right click I can hide the header. You can get it back by pressing the corner arrow. We can see that we already did some painting to the eyes, but this one is not showing in the render view, and this happens because we have to add a color attribute to the material node to make it visible. Let's quickly fix this. If you go to the data properties and open the attributes to display the color, this type of attribute should be added to this area. For example, when I switch to the eyes with Alt Q, we can see how we have a color attribute in the list. To have this being displayed in the render view, we will plug the attribute node. I will split the window again. This time I will choose the shader editor. Once in the shader area, I will add a new material. Just leave the principal BSDF as it is. With Shift A, I bring the Add menu, and in the search you can type attribute, and pick the color attribute. Click the drop-down menu and pick the color that you have in your attribute list and plug it to the base color. Now we can see it in the render window. I'm going to do the same to the eyebrows. This will work as soon as you plug it, even though I haven't selected from the drop-down menu because I only have one attribute, but if you happen to have more, then you will need to select it accordingly. For the color attribute to show in the attribute menu, you can add it by pressing the plus button, or simply when you paint over your model, this will generate the attribute automatically. Knowing this, I can hide the shader editor. I will start by painting the body. When painting in Sculpt mode, make sure to have a dense mesh since we will paint on the vertices, and the more we have, the smoother the paint will look. In wireframe, you can see how dense this model is, so this is good for painting. In case you wonder, I'm changing to the wireframe using the HardOps add-on, link in the description. Just to test it, in the tool panel I will pick the paint brush. I get my color and then I paint on the model. This looks perfect. I like to start the painting with a base color over the whole model. To do this, I will be using a mask. In the mask menu, I click on Fill Mask to have it apply over the whole model. The next thing is to remove the mask from the areas in which we don't need the base color, like the belly of the frog. With the mask brush selected and holding Ctrl, I remove the mask I don't need. I have the strength set to the highest. I go to the Layout tab so I can hide the floor. Go back to Sculpting and continue removing the mask. Masking back this part of the arm. Now we have a good mask selection. I invert the mask. You can also do this with Ctrl-I. I see I have to improve the masking, so let's work on that. To quickly apply the base color, in the tool panel I search for the color filter tool, making sure it's set to fill. Go to the color palette and with the eyedropper I will sample my color from the reference. Then I click and start dragging to fill. Of course, it is not showing in the render, but you already know how to deal with this. I have an add-on integrated to my Pi menu called Editor Swap, which allows me to quickly change windows based on preferences. This way, I do not need to split any windows. You will have it in the description with the list of add-ons I used during the video. Now that it's visible, I feel I need more color. Here I'm adjusting the color while looking at the render. I think I like this one. I will invert the mask to paint the belly. It's looking good, so I can remove the mask. You can do this with Alt-M. I want to add more volume to the lips, so I will approach this the same way I did for the eyebrows in part 2. In object mode with Shift-A, I will add a plane. Rotate in X 90 degrees and scale it down with S. In the object properties, viewport display, I click in front. Move it to where I want it, pressing G. I want this on both sides, and we can do this with a mirror modifier. Turn on snapping. Check the box for clipping. Let me quickly show you what this does. In edit mode, when I move the vertices and they touch in the middle, they just overlap. But when the clipping is selected, they will merge together. For the snapping settings, I have them in phase to closest and remove the align rotation. Now I will just move the vertices in place and extrude with E when I have to add more points. In object mode, I will add a subdivision modifier with 3 levels, followed by a solidify modifier and play with the thickness. With this, now we have a bit of volume for the lips. I go to the edge selection mode and turn off the solidify modifier to see better what I'm doing. First, I must turn off snapping, and now I can add some loops to make the edges sharper. Turn back on the solidify modifier to see how it looks. I like to check how it looks when changing the order of the modifiers. Now I can apply the modifiers. As you can see, I have an issue in the middle caused by the mirror modifier, so let's undo and apply all the modifiers together with Ctrl A and click on Visual Geometry to mesh. Anyways, if I want to work on both sides, in Sculpt mode I can always use the Symmetry option. Back to the Sculpting tab, I will bring back the screencast keys. With the Color Filter tool set to Fill, I pick the black color and begin filling the object. I will quickly connect my node to make it visible. If you are missing the color attribute, just add some paint or do one stroke with the paint brush and this will generate it automatically. That is why I normally add some color first before plugging the nodes. Now I can continue adding color while I have it visible in the render area. That's good, but it's time to remove from the lips and eyebrows the option to be in front, so let's do that in the viewport display. Time to add some color to the flower. By activating the wireframe, we can see that the petals don't have a lot of vertices, so this might be an issue when painting. Just to show you, let's go to Sculpt mode and choose the paintbrush. When I apply the color, you can see how the paint is not that smooth due to the low number of vertices. Back in object mode, I will select the petal and holding shift, I select the rest. Then with Ctrl 2, I add 2 levels of subdivision. I can also check the wireframe in edit mode. I feel it needs a bit more, so let's do Ctrl 3. Okay, so Ctrl A and Visual Geometry to mesh to apply the modifier. Back in Sculpt mode, let's pick the color filter. Click in the color tab and with the eyedropper I pick my color from the reference and begin to apply it. With Alt Q, I switch the mesh and start filling with color until it matches the first petal and continue with the rest. This is looking good, but we need now to plug our nodes. I will do a split in the window to make it quicker. I could link all the materials, but I don't want them to look the same, so I continue plugging all the nodes one by one. Let's quickly add color to the middle part of the flower. I will add some subdivisions and apply the modifier. Since I still have the shading editor open, I will just add the color attribute. And as we can see, we don't have the attribute because I haven't painted anything yet. We don't have this part in the reference image, but I know I want to paint this with a yellow color. So again, with the filter tool and with the color selected, I begin filling the object. Just for the sake of having it in there, I will add the attribute in the node and collapse the window. In the reference, we can see some gradient and yellow tones on the petals, so I would like to make something similar. To replicate this, I will use a paintbrush and pick the color from the reference. Then, slightly, I start to apply the color to all the petals. There is also a lighter tone of pink, so let's add that one too. It's not making much difference, but I'm fine with that. Now I can pick a lighter pink and add more paint. Now we can add a darker pink. Looking good in the render, so now I will switch to the smear tool to blend the colors for a better transition. Wherever I have two colors together, I blend them. We can now paint details to the arms. Something that has been bothering me are the eyes when compared to the reference, so I will quickly do some adjustments to this part. This is good enough for me. Now we can focus on painting the arms. To do this part, I'm planning on using masks. Remember to use the strength, and you can quickly access this one by pressing Shift F. First, I will turn off the symmetry. Let's begin masking. Remember that holding Control, you can erase or unmask the area. Here I'm using the lasso mask to select a larger area. Now I can do a bit of cleaning, adding and removing masks. There is no reference for the back, so I just make this up. With the masking done, I want to apply color, but first I need to smooth the mask, and for this you can go to the mask menu and click on Smooth Mask. In my case, I will be using the Sculpt wheel add-on. The mask is smoother, so with Ctrl-I, I can invert. Same as before, with the color filter tool, I will pick a color and begin filling with paint. It's getting there, but I would like to have it more on the green side. I like this way more. Remove the mask. You can do this with Alt-M. I think we are good in terms of colors for the character, so we can now proceed to paint the leaf where our grumpy frog is sitting. In object mode, I bring back the floor and check with the wireframe if we have enough geometry. We need more vertices. Then what we can do is apply the subdivision modifier. I don't think this is enough, so in Sculpt mode I will remesh the object to increase the resolution. This should be good. I will head back to the Sculpting tab to begin painting. The color in the reference is similar to the one in the body, but I don't want that, so I will make it more green. With the color selected and the color filter, I will do one stroke just to generate my color attribute for the node. To see it better, I will change the position in the render and start adding more green. I like it, so with the paintbrush we can sample from the arms and add some details. I'm adding color and smoothing this one pressing Shift. I will sample another color to add more variation and continue painting and smoothing. This is great. Now I need to adjust the painting in the eyes. Activate the wireframe to check the resolution. It's not bad, but I would like to have a bit more, so I will do a remesh. Having more resolution, I will begin by masking. I didn't like this approach, so to try something different, in the stroke menu, I switched the stroke to drag dot. Now I can just drop a mask dot. For the coloring, I will add them in layers, so first will be the outer yellow, then I can make a new selection for the black part. Now, instead of smoothing the mask, I want to make it sharp. Invert with Ctrl-I and add color with the filter tool. With the mask and a smaller size, I can make the area to add the darker color. Sharp the mask. Invert and repeat with the filter color. With the paintbrush, I will try to make some corrections. This is not working, so I just mirror the color. Back in object mode, I can see some symmetry issues, so I will correct the eyebrows in sculpt mode. The last thing I want to do is to add the bright spot to the eyes, so I will first apply the mirror since I don't want them in the exact same position. In sculpt mode, with the paintbrush and a brighter color, I will add these spots. And we can say that our model is done. And that's it guys for this video. I hope you learned a lot from this video series. If you enjoyed the content, please consider to like, share and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions to improve the channel, please let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you soon.